Lives current events, or as today we're discussing common sense. See how many of us have common sense.
I think a lot of people lack common sense. But today's drink actually, we've been going a lot back and forth to Michigan, so I wanted to get some Michigan beer, and I've tasted it already, so we're all going to do kind of like a taste test because there's 4 different kinds. I'm not going to lie, I am very disappointed because the one time we went, the beer I had was absolutely delicious, so I got this variety pack. It says like, it's me beer, the Michigan craft beer is what the box said. So the first one we're going to taste, and this is the one that I think is the worst. It's called Closure Ale. It is made by Green Bush Brewing Company, and they are out of Sawyer, Michigan. I feel like this beer tastes like you might as well stuff a bunch of flowers in your mouth and eat them.
Alright.
So,
she's really selling this beer.
I told you it's gross.
Alright.
Isn't it?
Okay.
It's not that bad to me.
Oh, Jill.
Seriously?
When I first tasted it, I was like, oh, this is not that bad. I was like, Lisa's totally overreacting.
No.
And then it sat on my tongue, and I was like, oh, that's disgusting.
Isn't it the nastiest beer? Like, I don't even know. All I could think of is it tastes like you shoved flowers in your mouth and ate them. Like,
I mean, it does have a big, nice, pretty flower on it. So maybe they were trying to sell you.
It is so bitter. It's really bitter. I'll say that.
Oh.
I'm not saying it's like one of the best beers that I've tasted, but it's definitely not the worst beer that I've tasted. So it's not that bad to me. It's not something that I would be like, hey, let's go to the store and get this beer. Definitely not one of those.
The finish is what's killing me right now. Like, that finish is nasty. It's sitting on my tongue.
You
It's
get
horrible.
that first sip, and then you're like, oh,
I
this
don't
is
have
pretty
like
good.
anything. Like, I don't know.
No.
We'll see when the rest of them come.
And then
I'm pretty sure the one you guys like, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah. No. Okay. So this next one is called Mayan Mocha Stout. It's a stout with coffee, cinnamon, nutmeg, and habaneros. It is by Oddside Ales, and they are out of Grand Haven, Michigan.
Alright.
Hope it gets all the flavor in there.
No. Alright, so this
this
is
is dark one.
This
I know
this
I'm not
is
loving this one.
Lisa's.
This is my second.
Don't pour a lot.
worst.
Yeah.
Don't pour a lot.
I don't know. I
Alright.
don't think you like the other one either.
Alright, bottoms up, ladies.
Switch it around. Cause I
smell the mocha, like before I even drink it, I smell the mocha.
like, I want to say out of a description of different drinks that you try, this is probably the one that I actually can taste every single flavor that is listed. Like, you get every flavor in there, and then after it's on your tongue for a minute, you get that bite of habanero.
You do get the spice. The spice is what hits you at the end. You get the smell of the mocha.
It tastes like a cinnamon taste in there too.
Right, it is.
It
It's
is.
cinnamon, nutmeg, the coffee, and habanero. So, like,
I
I
don't
don't
really
really
taste
like it.
everything in there though.
You can.
Yeah.
Like, I think if hands down probably the best description and the best flavor that the beer actually says that it is, this might be one of the best descriptions and flavors actually tasting like that I have ever had, because you truly get every single layer of flavor.
See, and I'm not a stout beer fan, so I already knew that I kind of wasn't going to favor it because it's a darker. Stouts tend to be your darker beers.
Let's
So,
let our stomachs kind of settle before we
These are the two better
want to
ones.
finish them.
we gotta finish them. This is our beer segment.
Okay.
We have to
Okay,
finish our
we
beer
gotta
segment.
take it like men, guys. Come on.
Do it.
Take it like us, Danielle. Let's go. All right.
Let my stomach settle. Just that one. No.
Yeah, see?
It
But-
didn't sit
But
well
for
with me.
flavors, actually tasting like it says, hands down, I think it's the best in that round. But other than neck, yuck. So this one, I think it's pronounced Kolsch. It's Kolschch. If I'm wrong, correct me, let me know. It says it's the Kolsch style ale. It's from Round Barn Brewery. And this one is actually from Baroda, Michigan. Now this is my, like if I had to drink the whole beer, I could drink the whole beer. So it's my third. I think it's actually okay.
And I kind of pre-drank, but cheers, ladies.
I could handle this one.
Yeah,
It's light.
To me.
No,
It's
it's
very
a
bland
very
and light.
light beer.
Yeah.
You're right. It doesn't
Very
have.
I'm sitting here thinking, like, does it not have a taste because the other one was so
No.
strong?
That's what I'm thinking
But
too.
it really doesn't. It's a very bland. When I taste, that's why I said like I could actually drink this one. It's a golden blonde ale.
Oh, so it's kind of like what we had last time.
Right.
So last week we had a horny blonde beer, so
yeah.
it's a very light.
And it
brew.
says it's like it has wonderful malt tones and a prominent,
really,
but
yeah.
not an extreme hop character. But it's good. I like
See,
it.
and that's exactly what you're just saying. Like, it doesn't really have its own character. It's
Yeah.
just tastes very light.
It's
and
German.
airy.
I would think this is one for people who don't really like beer.
Yes,
I would
Right.
say.
I would agree with that
Mhm.
because you're right. It doesn't have a significant.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have did that one last.
It's good.
The Mayan beer. Cause
No, I'm glad we knocked
I am
that one
glad
out
we-
because
yeah.
that was tough.
I'm glad we did the.
But I'm not sure which one. Well, you know what? That one was so bitter. The first one we tried
Yeah,
that I
it was-
agree
ugh.
that probably is the worst, just because of the after bite.
Yeah, it's like
It's
horrible.
different. Like this one really just kind of upset my stomach.
Right.
If I had to drink that whole beer,
It's probably the
wouldn't end
habanero
well.
in
Yeah.
because the pepper probably
Maybe.
isn't right. Yeah.
But it just didn't sit right.
And
with
it
us,
gives
like-
you that after bite, like. It
Yeah.
gives- Okay.
All right, on to beer number 4.
Which is my favorite. It is Liberty Street Brewing Company's who it's by. It's called Red Glare Amber Ale, which amber ales are my favorite to begin with. And it was made in Livonia, Michigan.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a darker tone beer than the last one we drank.
I put a little extra in my cup. Okay, ready?
All right, ladies, cheers.
Cheers.
So yeah.
No, I don't like this one.
It's a lighter, but now it has a weird aftertaste. But I think because we tried all.
That's what I'm thinking. Is it because we've tried all the different types and we have
Mhm.
all the different types just kind of sitting on our taste buds, or is it just the beer itself that I'm
We
not
should have
liking?
sniffed coffee in between it. And that was your supposed to.
We should have sniffed the Mayan mocha.
Right?
I actually would switch my favorites
Mhm.
from yours. So I'd go in the same order. I would say the first beer we tried was definitely the worst. And it was just that aftertaste that was disgusting. The first taste was actually pretty good. I was confused as to why she didn't like it.
Yeah.
The Mayan one, I already knew I wasn't going to like it because I don't like stout beers. They're just too dark, too rich for me.
Yeah.
That's probably why I like the blonde one, the Kolsch one, better than I like the Red Glare. It seems to have a lighter taste, and I think I definitely like the lighter taste.
Yeah. Which one was your favorite, Daniel?
I would have to say the same one Tiffany did, the one that was like really, really light. I would have to say this is my second.
The
last-
closure
Yeah.
was your second?
The,
Okay.
what was it? The red.
The Red Glare?
The regular would have to be like my third, and then that's just dead last.
Yeah, that was just, I don't, when I opened it, I was like, maybe I've got some funky taste buds going on. So I was like, let me try another drink. I was like, oh my God. And I walked to the sink and I was pouring out, and Calvin goes, I've never in your life seen you pour out a beer before. I was like, well, this one's going down the sink because this is disgusting. So then I opened this one. I was like,
Which is the
closure. And I was like, oh, this one's going to be going down the sink too. This is gross. I was like, I don't even want to bring this over to the podcast. Like, these are nasty. So, but yeah. All right, ladies.
Did you guys want to drink the sangria that I brought in the jar? Or would you guys like a break? And then we'll drink this like later on in the podcast.
Let's take a break and then.
Danielle needs to recover, guys.
I need to recover, guys.
No problem.
Sorry.
It's okay. I was gonna
The
finish
non-drinker.
the blonde beer. Did you want the Mayan one?
No.
Are you
I
sure?
think our sink would like it, or you can save it for actually.
Yeah, well, let's tell them that it's really good.
This is the best one. You should try it.
And then we could save the rest for when the other guys come over to play cards.
I'll give him this one. Ashley's a little allergic to flowers, so I don't want to try to kill him. It tastes like flowers.
Here, Ashley.
He's allergic to eating flowers.
Right.
Oh
Okay.
Okay, so today we're talking about common sense. And I want to start off with just a quick definition because common sense really isn't so common. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm laughing because I'm like, well, can you really call it common sense if it's not that common?
No, you can't, but what would you call it?
I'm just saying, it always, makes me wonder, like, if it's not common knowledge, can you really call it common sense?
But isn't that why they kind of said, like, people are book smart and then they changed it to, like, street smart instead of saying, like...
Yeah, that's why I want to hear this definition of what their definition of common sense, what is it?
Alright, so common sense is the ability to think and behave in a reasonable way and to make good decisions. A little alky you.
Totally not making good decisions here in my cup of beer.
So basically, when I started looking up common sense, I think everyone's definition of common sense is kind of different. So something that you may know, you'd be like, Danielle, that's common sense, and I'd be like, yeah, well.
So it all depends on the environment you're raised in.
I believe, that's what I believe. I'm not a doctor, not a psychic. I don't know, but I'm just saying, I personally think that everyone's definition of common sense is different. So I might say, somebody might do something like that's kind of common sense, like you should know not to do this, or you should know this is what's going to happen if you do this, but not everyone really knows.
Okay, so I didn't get to go into my rant because, of course, we didn't do our disclaimer. So we get updates about our shows and stuff, and so basically our boss, John, he wanted us to come up with a description and a demographic and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, well, based on our topic, I would have to say mature audience, so 18 and over. So Danielle goes, well, since we're doing 18 and over, we should really say that we don't encourage people under the age of 21 to drink. And I was like, it really fucking pains me that we have to say some bullshit stuff. People know that you have to be 21 and older to drink. So of course we don't sit here and say, do illegal shit. No. So it really fucking irks me that we even have to say that at all.
And this is where the topic of common sense kind of came into play. Because, and I totally agree, and this is why I wanted to do a common sense, so I totally agree. It's kind of like, why do we have to say something that you should already know being an adult? I would say going into 18, once you're 18, you're pretty much considered an adult. So why should someone else someone else have to tell you, hey, don't drink? If
Well,
you're
here's
not
my
21,
thing.
if you're not old enough
Why
to drink.
isn't the drinking age 18 in the first place? You have to pay bills, you have to do, you have to make decisions. You are legally an adult at 18. Why are you not allowed to drink at 18? Why is the legal limit 21? Like, I just don't understand
I think
that concept either. But that's a different type of
I agree
thing.
with you on that one.
I think that not all 18-year-olds are going to be responsible.
Shit, not all 21-year-olds
Well,
are
yes,
responsible.
I get it, but I know
legally, at 18, you are legally responsible for yourself at 18.
Yeah.
So therefore, you may not be mature. I know a lot of people who are of drinking age who are not mature, but that's a different thing. If you're going off of maturity or you're going off of age, if you are legally responsible for yourself at the age of 18, you should be able to drink at 18. That's just the way I look at it. And I'm well over 18, so it's not like, oh, I need to get into that category. I'm well over 18.
She's old lady. lady.
I'm old lady.
Old ladies.
But that's just my way of looking at it. Otherwise, then why not make 21 the age of adulthood? If that's how you feel.
I feel like at 18, if you can go into the military and then you can go be sent over for war, and you can fight war for our country, but you can't have a beer, like how stupid. I agree. I think 18 should be, that's when you become an adult. That's when you become an adult across the board. And they really can't say maturity because there's so many immature 21-year-olds that I don't think that's a
Immature
good fight.
30-year-olds,
Right.
immature 40-year-olds.
Right.
That's why I said maturity and age are two different things. And a lot of people don't understand that concept either. There's a big difference.
It's a common sense concept.
I don't even think it's a common sense thing, but you know, again, like you said, common sense is based on your upbringing. It's like how you were raised. What you've learned may not necessarily be what someone else learned.
Right.
So in the kitchen, there's some things that I ask my mom, and she's like, "Are you kidding me, Tiffany? Like, you're a grown woman and you don't know this?" And I'm like, "Well, I've never done it before." So for you, you've done it, you've seen someone else do it. For you, it is common knowledge.
Right.
I've never seen you do it, or I've never been around someone else who did it. So for me, it's not common knowledge. You know, there's certain things that we would say, that's fucking stupid, everybody knows that. Okay, like, let's say the beverage thing. I know Danielle had mentioned, you know, coffee, having to have, like, coffee cups that you get from McDonald's or something, have to say, caution,
Yes.
contents may be hot. And we're all like, yeah, fuckhead, of course it's gonna be hot.
And that's how I feel. Like, you should, if you're ordering hot coffee, you should know that it's hot, and you should know what's going to happen if you spill it.
You didn't
on
ask for
yourself.
iced coffee, you asked for hot coffee.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I
But
go to
they have
Dunkin'
to put
Donuts
it.
every morning and I go, you know, let me get a caramel macchiato, a large caramel macchiato. Would you like that iced or hot? And I'm like, if I wanted it iced, I would have said an iced coffee, but I would like it hot, please.
Yeah.
You know, I don't say that to them, but in my head I'm like, if I wanted an iced one, I would
Say that.
have said that. No, I'm very polite.
So I'll take your coffee
It's
back.
just, yeah, it's just the thoughts that go into my
He's
head.
gonna
Like,
get some extra
oh.
syrup in there.
I'm like, oh, see, the extra syrup would have been, oh, not that extra. But, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, extra caramel syrup, that'd be awesome. Not
No
the
charge,
type of
no
extra
charge.
syrup that
Right.
she's talking about.
But
Yeah.
that is something that should be common sense. You would think that would be common sense. You ask for a hot coffee, duh, it's gonna be hot. You should not be able to sue a company because that person they sued, right? And they won the
Yeah, but she dropped it
Yeah.
on herself in her own vehicle. So it's not like he handed it to her and he dropped it, handed it to her. She literally dropped it on herself.
There's my beer on
And
it.
then that's where disclaimers come in because
They have to put the
they have to put
hot.
that on there.
Well, no shit.
Well, isn't it like that one family that sued McDonald's because their
Their
kids
kids
got
were
fat?
Oh, please.
Well, I
Another
mean,
thing.
who forced you to take your kids every day to McDonald's?
Right.
Cook, salads,
Well, here's the weird thing to
good
me,
eating
right?
meals, diets.
They had to eat
Exercise.
McDonald's 3 times a freaking day to make their kids
They
fat.
say
How
that ignorance
stupid.
of the law is not an excuse for you not to be charged with a crime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why is it that your ignorance that coffee is hot or that fast food makes you fat, why is that now that company's responsibility to pay?
I think
That's where, like, I don't understand how these people are winning it. I blame the judicial system for that because they're winning these. You wouldn't sue if you weren't winning them.
right.
So you're obviously winning these cases, which says a lot about our judicial system. Because if I'm riding my bike, okay, so the law in Aurora, and probably a lot of other cities, is you cannot ride your bicycle on the sidewalk if you're over the age of 16. They can
Really?
pull you over
Yeah.
on
I
the
didn't know
sidewalk
that.
and give you a ticket. No, a lot of people didn't know that. I only knew that because a friend of mine was riding his bike on the sidewalk and got pulled over on the sidewalk.
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it's a
he
law.
was over
It's a
the
law.
age of 16. So they said your ignorance of the law doesn't mean we can't ticket you for that. Just because you didn't know that it wasn't a law doesn't mean we cannot charge you.
Well, that's an
and ticket
ignorant
you.
ass.
I mean, that's just like if
Law.
your car light goes out, how are you supposed to know if you're inside of the car, if your headlight goes out or your tail light goes out, but yet you can get a ticket for it? How am I supposed to know if I'm in the car driving it. When I get out the car, I turn my key off, take it out, I get out, my lights aren't on anymore. So,
Well, see,
Well, the
most
headlights,
people give
yeah.
you the ticket because they figure you're being a dick. Because a lot of them will just say, hey, you know that your light is out. A lot of them won't ticket you for the light. A lot of them will use it as a segue to say your light is out, and then they'll ask for your stuff to try and get you on other things. But most of them will not ticket you on something like that unless you're being a dick. Then a lot of officers will ticket you on.
unless they're being a dick.
That can go either
I feel
way.
like this is conundrum because I'm like,
Different topic, different podcast.
But I'm just saying, you could get a cop.
long,
that's being a
awkward
dick.
pause. I was like,
Let us just sip some more beer.
Yeah, I felt like I was a little too tipsy at that point. I was just staring, like, what is she trying to say here?
But, anyways, Danielle, go ahead.
So I found a couple of articles that I just want to quickly go over, and I actually like this article. It was from the timesstandard.com. And his article just started out, says, I'm not sure when common sense became a rare commodity in this country. There are always a certain number of people without common sense in any era. I tend to trace the current epidemic to the infamous hot coffee case against McDonald's. So, just like we had said, when a woman sued and won because she was burned when she spilled a cup of fast food restaurant's coffee on her lap. This spawned an age where even the most obvious things you need to be explained in simple language. Don't slide your finger along this new knife. But just common sense, you know a knife is gonna cut you. Why would you?
Which is common sense, but I will guarantee you somebody's tried to sue a knife company before.
Or it says, don't put your fingers in the toaster. And he says, suddenly it has to be spelled out for an adult, which I agree. I think that, like, everywhere you look, oh, don't touch this if you put your finger in this. You know, and I'm like, that's common sense. I can see for kids maybe, like, yeah, you guys, but that's something that, like you said earlier,
Did you
they need to
hear
learn.
about the case where the guy only got probation? He ran over kids. He was drunk and ran over kids. And he claimed that he never knew that that was wrong because he was so wealthy.
Yeah.
So he suffered from affluenza.
Yep.
And I'm like, you seriously let this fucker get away with this shit? Like, are you fucking kidding me? You had to get a license, right? You had to take a fucking test, right? Okay, so you know that it's illegal to drink and fucking drive, and you as a judicial official let this motherfucker get away with it?
Right.
No, hell no. You got paid off, you needed to be fired. I'm not sure what's going on with these people in like a judicial position, but I'm like, you lack common sense as a judge.
I think that, like, not in all cases, but a case like this, if that was your child that he ran over, would you want him to be like, oh, just probation because your mommy and daddy never taught you anything because you never had to do anything because you have so much
They're
money?
not my children, and I want him in jail.
Yeah.
Well,
This is
yeah,
what
but
you know.
I'm
It's
just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like, obviously they're looking at it as like, okay, yeah.
They're looking at what they're getting paid underneath the table.
Right,
It has nothing to
exactly.
do with that at all. He had a great lawyer. They had a lot of money to pay off the judge. They had a lot of pull. The judiciary system is now all politics. It's politics. Who you have connections with, who you can make happy. If you're the son of someone who has connections, who has wealth, you're getting off with probation. You're getting your record cleaned. If you're someone who's from a poor family, yeah, you're getting it up the ass. You're getting charged for every motherfucking thing. And
That you can't afford to pay anyway.
no, and that's just the way that it goes.
Yeah.
And what it is it's politics. It's not real, justice.
That's true.
It's sad.
It's very sad that you can get it. But I mean, that's just with another thing, though. A lot of people can get away with common sense stuff and be like, oh, I didn't know. But it's literally, I think a lot of stuff it doesn't need to be learned. It's something that you should just automatically know.
Well, here's what I'll say too. It's a cultural thing. If I went to another country, there might be customary things that they would say, this is common knowledge and you're being disrespectful by doing this, and I wouldn't know because I'm not from there. So where I'm from, it's okay to do it, but I go to your country, it's not okay. So it's a cultural thing as well. So I think that's another thing where people forget is that the United States is a melting pot of all these different people from all over the world, right? If you go and visit another country, right, even on vacation, they're probably looking at you like you're crazy based on what you order, how you behave yourself in a restaurant, how you behave yourself in a certain environment, how you walk on the street, how you drive, just different things. Like, there are so many different cultural things between this country to the next country that you don't realize that it's common knowledge or common sense things, but to them, they're saying you as an adult have no common sense.
Yeah, but how many people do you run across every day that just here visiting the United States, and I actually been here for years, that actually knows the laws?
I've lived here my entire life, and there's a lot of laws that I don't know. I was a grown adult before I learned the whole sidewalk thing, and the only way
I had no idea about that.
the only way I learned it is because it's someone I knew experienced it. Had he not, I would have never known.
But I'm talking about more, I don't know how to put it, like, more common sense stuff, though.
Okay, now here's my thing about the bicycle thing. For me, common sense would be it's safer for bicyclists to ride on the sidewalk than it is for them to ride in the street. The chance of them hurting a walking pedestrian is way lower than them getting hit by a car.
Especially in Aurora, hello.
I mean,
And
anywhere.
how small some of those, but how small some of the
Yeah, the
side
streets are really small.
They are ridiculously small. A lot of times you have to have cars parked on the street because there's not a lot of the houses don't have, either garages or big driveways. So most cars park on the street. So most streets are lined with cars. So then they have to ride on the other side of the car.
So for me, common sense would say bicyclists would be safer on the sidewalk. Why are we restricting them from being safe by forcing them to ride in the street?
And at 16 years old at that.
Have you ever found out why they make...
I don't know why. I assume it's because bikes can reach a really high rate of speed. But cars are a lot bigger and reach a way higher rate of speed. I still think that bicyclists would be safer on a sidewalk. They believe they do it to keep pedestrians on the sidewalk safer. But you're running way more risk with a car to bike than a bike to pedestrian any day. Based on my thoughts on it, I don't know, maybe they've done something scientific that proves otherwise. I know that if a bike is traveling really, really fast and it does hit like a small child or a very elderly person, yes, you're going to cause a lot of damage. But a bike with a healthy person on it is still no match for any car. Even like those little tiny smart cars with only two people riding.
They'll still kill you.
Still can kill you.
And I agree.
Yeah, my common sense.
But I mean, just saying, 9 times out of 10, though, a person's not going to be going that fast on a sidewalk anyway.
Right. Some bicyclists, they travel a nice rate of speed, but I mean, on an open road, I might even say you have an argument if a bike is going over a certain speed limit than to say, you have to ride in the streetway, and maybe that's how they're doing it. They're saying if you're pedaling at a certain rate. Now, this is another reason I would never start riding a bike again. One, because I fell off and broke my finger, but number two, because I'm clumsy. I tip over in a fucking street, I am dead.
Right.
There's no room for error. I'm dead. Just so you guys know. Tiffany decided to ride her bike.
Yeah, like that makes you not. And I wouldn't want my 16-year-old riding their bike everywhere in the street. I just wouldn't want it because, okay, they're 16. Do you think that they pay attention all the time to what's around them when they whip corners or they do this or they jump this? No, they're 16. Like how, that's dumb. Like that's just asking for an issue.
Yeah, so I mean, I think people have an argument for what you would deem as common sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree. So this next article that I got says why common sense isn't so common. It says common sense is not so common, and it is partly because of our past upbringings and situations we have dealt with. are also not so common. As a society, we certainly have some education standards. For example, going to school until the age of 18, making it mandatory, and in most cases for free. We also have standards around the type of minimal education each person must go through, such as mathematical, English, or history topics. However, we are not offered education on common sense. Maybe perhaps it's because common sense cannot be taught, but rather experienced, or just like you were saying. When you compare two individuals, one with a high level of education and the other a college dropout, most would assume that the college dropout is more likely to have failed 5 years down the road, although it really depends on the circumstances. Someone who has been sheltered their entire life, never exposed to real life situations, or even never having experienced earned value, is often unable to deal with them in the long run. While the uneducated high school dropout may not have achieved in school, he will certainly have a much greater sense of survival and self-sufficiency, making him more aware of his environment as he depends on it for survival. This awareness of situations, surroundings, and people's reactions is a direct result of past experiences, which in this case are much more amplified than those that have had no choice but to understand their background in order to find themselves and create their place in society.
Which makes sense, because I've run into a few people who don't know how to do their own laundry. And that always blows my mind. And they're like, well, I've never had to do laundry. My mother always did my laundry. I never had to do it. So I never learned how to do it. And to me, doing laundry is a common sense thing that every adult should know. But then I guess that goes for cooking. I think that basic cooking is something that everybody should know. But there's things, like I said, my mom, so one time, my mom was like, oh, we'll just use real tomatoes to make stewed tomatoes. And I was like, how do you do that? And she's like, are you kidding me, Tiffany? You put the tomatoes in the water and you boil them. When the skin splits, then you peel them and you chop them up and you throw it in there. And my mind was totally blown at how easy this was, but I never I never was taught this concept.
I love stewed tomatoes.
Yep, that's so easy.
I don't even know what stewed tomatoes are.
She's deprived.
See, we're like, that's so common sense.
We did stewed tomatoes last night.
I had stewed tomatoes today. That's what it reminded me.
But I didn't know how easy they were to cook.
I didn't know either.
No.
But my mom knew this. It's just not something that she taught me. We always just bought canned stewed tomatoes, tossed them in there. But she was like, it's so easy. And then she showed me, and I was like, oh.
So is it like the medium-sized tomatoes? Not to go off the topic, but I'll forget if I don't ask right now.
Yeah, I mean, you just put regular tomatoes in a pot of water, and you just boil them until they're soft. You peel off the skin and toss them in there. Super easy, and I did not know this at all.
It's super delicious. Okay,
Sounds interesting.
Off topic. My bad. I would have totally forgot to ask.
But yeah, things like
kids.
cleaning, doing laundry, basic cooking. A lot of people don't know how to do that if when you were raised, your parents did everything for you.
Right.
So I have a coworker, and she always tells me that she was like, I did everything for my daughters. I cooked, I cleaned. They didn't have to do anything. And now, as adults, she's starting to notice that they can't do certain things. And she's like, it's because I never made them do it growing up, so they never learned it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's another reason why I'm so big on making the kids do chores and learn how to clean and learn how to do laundry and, take care of the house, because these are things they're going to need as they get older.
Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree with that.
But some people would say it's common knowledge. It's common sense things that you should know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's your upbringing.
I always thought it was common sense of how to do laundry, just because I always learned it at a young age or whatever. And then I had a friend who went to college, and he had to ask somebody how to do laundry, because he had no idea. He had no idea of detergent, fabric softener. He didn't know. I'm like, really? You don't know how to do laundry and you're in college? That's scary. But maybe it's not.
It's okay. I still don't do laundry.
But you know how to.
I know how, but I'm just laundry.
Well, as long as
Hey,
you
that's
know
nice.
how.
I mean, hey.
She does the laundry and I do the folding and the putting away. So it's
Oh, you do the worst shit.
I would
Well,
rather
see, for
wash
me,
than put away.
See, for me, it's easy because I'm like, Brielle and Carmela, you guys are old enough to know how to hang up your
so
clothes
that's-
and put it
yeah.
up. So for me, it's like, I put my clothes
so
up
you
right
only
away.
do yours
I do
and
my
Ashley's.
Yeah. And then the kids do their own. And then sometimes, like, I'll do China's just so Brielle doesn't have to do hers and China's. But yeah, Brielle and Carmela, I make them. But see, I mean, I agree with you. There's a lot of stuff that I make them do. And everyone's like, they do this, they cook, they clean. And I'm like, well, they have to learn, you know, so they... Because I think, like, we didn't start cleaning until we were, like, 10, really. So, yeah, we didn't start really, like, learning how to clean and stuff. Well, at least me.
Yeah, it's
Until I
all
was,
good.
like, I mean, we obviously pick up your toys, do this, but I'm talking about, like, dishes and stuff like that until I was, like, 10. Where, like, Brielle wanted to start her early. China helps with dishes sometimes. So, Mel
I can't
cleans
recall the
bathroom.
age that I started washing clothes. I know it was really early on. I think the last thing I learned how to do was to cook a meal by myself. So, and that was at the age of 10. I had to cook an entire meal for the family with no help by myself, meaning I had to follow the instructions. I had to, you know, read how long it took and do everything myself without any adult help. Just make everything myself.
I mean,
At the age of 10.
That's what Brielle does, and she's 10.
Yeah.
So
But
she
before that, I had
instructions.
to, yeah, I had to help with things, like help do things before that. I think laundry learned pretty early on. Definitely sweeping and mopping and dusting, all of that really early on. So
Even the twins know how to.
I don't like mopping either.
I feel that mopping's a man's
Dust.
job, but that's just my opinion. But I think that's always
I had
because
the
my
kids
dad.
do it. I had the kids hand mop.
Well, I think that's because my dad's always done the mopping, so I've always felt that like it's a man's job to do the mopping. For the most part, he did. I would
So
say.
what if there's no man?
How's that work out for you?
For me,
Yeah.
Ashley and Brielle does the mopping here. Mostly Ashley. 'Cause
Brielle is definitely
I'll say-
not a man.
No.
Well, no, mostly Ashley does the mopping because Brielle doesn't get everything up right like he wants it, so he does the mopping. But I think I've made it pretty clear that I'm not. I'll sweep, but I'm not mopping. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to go over. You threw out some examples of what you may think that common sense is. So do you have any examples? Like any
I
funny examples?
thought like, let me see, what else was I thinking of? I think we really covered a lot of what I think. I thought, well, like the disclaimer, why do we have to put that we drink and if you're under the age of 21, household chores, I thought was always common sense. I had some and now I forgot. Go ahead, Tiff.
It's so funny because like
I should have wrote it down.
I always try to think of the phrase like, oh my gosh, that's common sense. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
But it goes back to the cultural thing. So in Hawaii, my grandmother came to live with us, and she's Chinese from Vietnam. And I was wearing a white headband, and she was like, take that off. And I'm like, okay, you know, and I just take the headband off, and my dad was like, you know, white for Chinese people is a symbol of death. When there's a funeral, you wear a white headdress to symbolize someone's funeral.
Okay.
And I did not know that
Right.
because, you know, my dad wanted us to be very Americanized. So I didn't know this. I wouldn't have worn it otherwise. It was
Right.
just a white headband sitting around the house. I threw it on my hair, went out of the door. But my grandmother was like, oh no, you know, take it off. It's almost like a bad omen. It's like wishing ill upon people. Or like your chopsticks. You don't take your chopsticks and point them at people because that's like wishing bad luck upon them. But it's a cultural thing. So to a Chinese person, it's common sense. You don't do that. It's etiquette. Whereas me, the Americanized half Asian, I'm like, I didn't know until I started doing it. And they're like, don't do that. Don't
Could
do
you
it.
imagine the poor Chinese people at Chinese restaurants? They're probably like, oh, these American people.
Yeah.
They're probably.
Crazy.
No, that's exactly what they're
I
probably
talk
saying.
with my hands, so I would be eating and talking with probably with my chopsticks pointing at people.
No, it's the same
But I
thing
didn't
when you
know.
go to get your toes done and
And that's why I think that common sense is also a cultural thing. There's a lot of customs. So if I'm in an environment with a lot of people of a certain culture, I try to watch what they're doing and mimic what they're doing because I don't want to be offensive. And I'm not trying to be offensive. I want to make sure I'm eating the food properly. I want to make sure that I am respecting the customary things that you guys would do. That's just how I am. But
what culture is it that it's rude and disrespectful if you don't burp after a meal? Because then they feel like you didn't like their food.
I know with Asians, I think it's farting. I want to say it's farting, or maybe it is burping, but making bodily noises is a sign that you enjoyed the food.
See, like there, it's what they do. It's common sense to them to do it. And if you don't, you're being rude and you didn't enjoy your food.
All the
Here,
time because I can't even force myself to burp. Like
See,
I would have to like down like a whole bunch of pop just to get a burp out.
And like here, we go to a restaurant or some people at their dinner table, whatever. You feel like some people feel like it's common sense. You don't burp at the table. You don't this and you don't that. So there's another good like example of how you're saying it's real cultural. Like what's common sense to us is not common sense to them.
Yeah. So like for me, I'd be like, common sense, coffee is hot.
Yeah.
Common sense, 21 is the legal drinking age. I don't need to tell you this.
Common sense, you don't get drunk and drive. Common sense, you this or.
Yeah.
So I had a few that I came up with, and one of them is because, just in case this person is listening to the podcast, I'm not going to put their name out there. But they were
just put it out there.
They were telling me that their stepchild, actually, she got a call from, no, I think she tried to buy something out of her bank or checked her bank account and noticed, like, there was no money in her bank, like, at all. And I guess something happened where, you know how, like, people were trying to, like, crack codes or, like, whatever. So I guess, like, someone had did it in her stepson's account and their accounts were connected. So they took the money from her account to cover what was taken out of his account. And so she went and got him, and they went to the bank, and he sat there, you know, they were asking him questions, and he bluntly said, well, I put my code on the back of my card. And for me, I'm like, that's a common sense thing, like, don't put your code to your bank card.
Oh, that's common. Yeah.
On your bank card. Like, that, to me, it's common sense, because if you lose it, then they have access.
How old was he? Was he a teenager?
No, he was over 18.
He was a grown person.
Yes.
Holy.
See, and you would think that's common sense.
And for me, I would think that's common sense not to put my code on the card. If you don't
like
remember
literally it was on the debit card.
On the debit card.
Well, they said you should protect. I mean, they send you a letter that tells you that, so he must not have read the letter because banks do specifically write it in
but
the
then
letter.
once he said that, then the bank didn't have to refund the money, and then he told the bank. So that was like common sense number two.
I would have not.
So she just lost a lot of money, and I was like,
oh no.
So
see, now my parents did reiterate, like, hey, there's certain information that you just don't put out there. So, I mean, if his parents, when they decided to, I don't know why, they would link. I would never link my account to my grown child's account. You know why? Because I know you are going to make some mistakes.
You have to live off of your mistakes. Like, you don't learn until you make those mistakes.
And I'm not going to pay for your mistakes. I mean, I might help you out within an amount of reason, but to put your burden of not being responsible onto me and you're grown, totally different aspect. And I don't think as a parent, I love my kids, but you'll never learn if it doesn't become your mistake. It's always my burden to bear.
Yeah.
And so with parents, I get it. You want to protect your child, and you know you always want to be there for them. Within an amount of reason, I do want to be there for you, but I also have to allow you to grow and to learn that when you make mistakes, these things happen, and you have to learn how to take care of it. I can try and guide you to get there. I can maybe help you out a little bit, But at the same time, I am an adult with my own set of responsibilities. I cannot afford to foot your bill because you made a mistake.
So, I'm not gonna put this name out there either, but kind of tying in with the same thing. I know someone who recently got a credit card, and they must got like their bill or whatever. You know how it says this amount due, because they don't always just make you pay it off right away.
Mm-hmm.
So they asked the question of, well, if I pay, we'll just say it was $30. So if I paid $30, does that give me the full amount back of my credit card?
Oh, they thought their credit line just
Would go
automatically just gives them like the full.
And I'm thinking like, no, you have to pay off your credit card
In
to
order to
get
get the full
amount
credit
back.
back.
You can't pay $30 for, let's just say, $500. It doesn't work that way. Like I think they seriously thought that's what they did.
They thought if you make the minimum payment,
You
it's
would
like
get the full,
it's like a refresh. Like,
Right.
oh, you get the whole thing back.
Right. So to me, that's common sense, but not everybody was taught what a credit card is, or what a loan is, or what a mortgage is. And they weren't taught those things, so they just don't know. But to me, that would be common sense.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it's like professional speak. You know, when you speak to someone who's in like realty, when you say terms and what goes along with it, they're like, oh yeah, that's just common knowledge that it goes along with that. But as a consumer, someone who doesn't deal with real estate all the time, that's brand new knowledge to me. I don't understand any of these terms.
Right.
I don't know what things mean. I don't understand what this means or why you have this. But you, as someone who works in real estate, you're like, oh yeah, it's common knowledge. I see it all the time. Yes, for your profession, it's common knowledge. For me, as the average consumer, yeah, I don't know these things.
Right.
I agree. So we took to Facebook, and one of the questions I know I asked on my Facebook, I don't know if you guys got any responses, but I said, what is a common sense concept you feel most people seem to be simply oblivious to? I got the responses of telling the truth, respect. One guy said, do unto others as you want done unto you. I feel like people expect to do what they want, but if you do it, then you're a bad person. And I got another response saying, minding your own business. I got a response saying, thinking before speaking. Sometimes the world around you doesn't need to know your innermost thoughts. Along with that, tact seems to be a lost art. Utilizing fact does not mean you cannot be honest. It means you understand that there's a time and a place for all things. Another response says, don't be a dick. Your brother, Tiff, Michael, actually said, simple observation and analysis of physical and tangible information. People often overlook simple truths in lieu of unfounded biased opinions.
I got 3 responses, but 2 of them were from the same person. And he said, what is common if everyone is different? I can't assume anyone thinks the same way I do. In life, I've always been the uncommon one. The other one said, it's easy, don't believe shit posted on Facebook. and the Facebook thing, there is some things that I see go around, and I'm like, do people really believe this?
Like
that should
the
be
most
common.
recent one, the lottery thing.
Oh,
well, they're saying that, yeah, it was like the math was wrong, and I was
It
like,
was totally fucking wrong. Like, you were off by like $1 million.
$1 million.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
$1 billion divided by $1 million and you got another $1 million? That's why your ass needed to pay attention in school a little bit. Or use your calculator. How about that? Let's use your fucking calculator.
And people were like reposting it, putting like,
that's
food
right.
for thought.
Yeah.
Oh, what a concept.
How about math for thought there?
Yeah, right.
How about basic fucking math that you learned in like
What a
fucking
concept.
6th grade or something?
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit this right here. No, you should
should have
delete
posted
that
the emoticon of the calculator and said, I'm just gonna sit this right here.
Right, exactly. It's like, no.
I just kept watching people post it, and I was like, you guys can't be serious with this. Like, I did not even comment because I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what to think of you.
Oh,
Why
yeah. I don't know.
Poverty solved. I'm like, you guys are the dumbest
Yes,
motherfuckers
I saw
on
some
the
of that
planet.
too. I saw that.
I said, you guys need to go to another country and learn.
I had also asked, why do you feel people lack common sense? And one of my friends said ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
Upbringing. My little cousin Denise actually said upbringing has a lot to do with it, I believe.
Yes,
Which
for
is
sure.
true.
And that's why I wanted to address, like, you know, your common sense thing, and people say, like, tact, and knowing when to say things and, you know, when it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And coming from a family that's very open, very blunt, not super offended by things. So I was raised in a mixed family. So, you know, my dad is Asian, my mom is white. So when people throw around the words like chinky and all that kind of stuff, like, I really honestly do not get offended by it. And I think it's just because of the way that I was raised. So I noticed that my sister and I, or my brother and I, we will make racial jokes and not realizing that other people do take offense to them, because we don't take offense to, you know, you making racial slurs at us. We're just like, we laugh it off. We think you're trying to be funny. And what I realize is it's the way we were raised. We're not sensitive to a lot of things that people are very sensitive to. Also, like cursing. So you guys have noticed, if you listen to the podcast, that I curse quite a bit. A lot of people find cursing really offensive, whereas me and my family, and even my extended family, we don't find cursing to be really offensive. It's just kind of natural in the way that we talk. So, but other people would say it's common sense that, you know, you wouldn't. But I've been in business settings where, to me, it's unprofessional to, like, curse when you're addressing people. But I've seen other people get on the phone and, like, curse people out, or curse at their coworker, and I'm like, are you guys kidding?
And you know what?
Are you kidding me right now?
I agree with you with that. Until I started working at the job that I am, I was like, and I heard people curse, I was like, that's so unprofessional. Like,
Don't get me wrong.
You just don't.
I would love to be in an environment where I'm like, yo, Lisa, hand me the fucking paperwork,
Right.
you know? Like, but me saying, Lisa, you're so fucking stupid. Why didn't you do this shit correctly? Like, that to me is unprofessional.
Yeah.
Now
Oh,
you
no.
saying
That happens at my
Now you're
job all the time.
like, now you jokingly being like, hey, Tiff, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, I just laugh and be like, shut the fuck up. I'm handling this shit. I wouldn't mind that type of environment. Quite honestly, I probably love it. I'd probably like to work in an environment with men, because men do tend to talk to each other like that. Whereas they think, oh, you're a dainty little female, you don't want to hear this. I'm like, no, I like your perverted jokes. I like all your cursing. That shit is, like, perfect with me. But you're not going to sit there and berate me because you're my boss or something, and being like, what the fuck is this shit that you're doing? I'm like, whoa, hold the fuck up. You wouldn't like it if I start cursing at you, so let's not go there. That's unprofessional.
There's like no way I could cuss at work. Now, 9 times out of 10, I wish I could cuss at my patients, because I want to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But I can't. We'd be fired. We couldn't even, if there's a patient around, we obviously couldn't even talk to each other like that. But sometimes there's some patients I would love to cuss at.
I'm sure there's
Especially
times where we
lately.
all like to cuss at someone.
Right.
All the time. I think that's for me. Like,
Danielle says, like, every day.
well, I mean, like, today I got really mad, and I tried not to curse, but I got really mad, and I was like, F this shit. I, like, walk into my boss's house, like, pop this, pop it. They're all looking at me like, sorry. I'm so mad.
I could not walk into my boss's cube and be like, fuck this shit, it's all bullshit.
I
want to sometimes.
I can't remember what I got mad at, and I was just like, I think it was just like so much stuff was just happening back to back, and I was just so irritated, and I was like, ugh. Everybody was looking at me like, what's her problem? Because I don't curse that much. Like, if I'm saying a joke or being funny, then yeah. But, like, other than that, like, for me to get mad and just, like, do like I did, my coworkers were looking at me like, oh, what's going on over here?
They're like, everybody hide under your desk.
So when Calvin cusses, I'm like, oh, okay, he's Yeah, seriously. Oh my God, pissed him off. Not me.
She's like, calm down, Calvin.
So guys,
Oh,
you have a shot round? No, I'm just kidding.
that's what I was wondering. I'm like, we just drank all the sangria and beer. What's up?
No shot round this time. But I thought it would be a little fun time. Funny. But a little fun to do a common sense quiz since we're talking about common sense.
Danielle set us the fuck up right here. Is what happened. Okay.
I guess
All right. Okay.
I mean, it would have been nice for a shot round. Hey, that's okay.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
do we? I don't even think we have. any
Yeah.
shots
So you
here.
can shot this.
Negative.
We have. Yeah. Let's get some shot
I
glasses.
should have known we were shotting. I would have saved the
No more shot
vodka
round
sangria.
for me.
Well, that's what I was trying to hint at. Is why I said save it for later, but it's okay.
But she didn't tell us about this. She just sprung this shit on
Yes, I did. I
Guess we'll see
did.
what common sense or whatever we're seeing here.
us. Okay.
So I want you guys to write them down because last time we did questions, Lisa kept throwing her answers out there.
How many? Wait. Okay. Are you serious with this? We got
We
like
have 20 questions?
No, I'm not gonna do all 20.
Okay.
Come on, girl.
I'm just gonna pick a few and go through it, and it's kind of like the riddle one, so it's not like, just kind of like the riddle type of common sense questions.
I'm gonna fail all
We have
of
to
these.
write
It's
the
not
questions
about
down.
failing,
Okay,
guys. It's just funny. I like these type of things
We have to
because I
write the
always get them
question?
wrong. I'm not gonna lie to
You
you.
just write the answer down.
Just write the
Oh, okay,
answer
go.
down. Okay.
Yeah, don't let Lisa.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Lisa's
all the way
like, let me
across-
look.
I'm all the way across the table. My eyesight is
Are you
bad.
gonna drink that?
Huh?
You drinking that?
Yeah, I'm gonna drink it.
Oh, shit.
She was like,
That's
dude,
why
this
she's
is
drinking.
good. Yeah. I have a bunch more jars at home. I'll bring another one again.
Okay.
Alright. So, just write your answers down, and then when you're done, we'll go over it. I'm gonna do probably about like 10 of them, just to go through them.
Alright.
So, Tiffany's pretty smart, so.
See, now she's
See, and that's common sense to me. You don't say stuff like
Look
that. No, I'm
at
just kidding.
now she's setting me up for failure. I'm like gonna get all 10 wrong. She's like, it's such.
No, because I was like looking at these, and I was like, Tiffany's gonna get all of them. No, I'm not saying anything.
Oh, no.
Okay, so let's quickly go through these.
Okay. We'll just say our answer after each one, so that way the audience on the
Right.
phone can.
Okay.
We're just waiting on you. Yeah.
I will-
Common sense is that we're on a podcast and that you need to keep
prepared.
speaking.
Hey, I'm trying to figure out which ones, okay, to do. Okay, so, do they have a 4th of July in England?
Yes.
You're not supposed to say it out loud until
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
decides what they want.
I'm sorry. My answer would be yes.
Mine too.
Everybody has a 4th of July.
Oh my gosh, you're so smart.
Right.
Okay,
Oh, she's doing riddles. These aren't common sense. This is riddles.
no, I looked
These
them
are
up and
answers.
all the common sense tests, like, they came with the riddle, so I was like, it's kind of fun to do. I like doing it. I do these type of stuff with the kids all the time, so. Okay, how many 2-cent stamps are there in a dozen?
A dozen?
12. Yeah.
Okay. You got it right.
It's a dozen.
I told you you're smart. How many animals of each sex did Moses take on the ark?
What?
How
many animals of each sex did Moses take on the ark?
All I know
Is
is
half an
animals not
answer?
2 by 2. He didn't designate sex from what I read, did he? I don't know my Bible verses like that. Didn't he just?
So basically, he took a male and a female. So
For each animal?
for each animal.
Okay, because I just know that he took 2. I mean, he might have done male and male. I don't know. Female and female.
Right.
Reptiles,
Did it
females
say?
and females.
I have the answer. I'm going to tell you.
Some
Let's
animals
finish
are
it.
asexual, just so you know. So you could have just taken a male and a male and a female. I mean, a female and a female are normally the asexual ones. Just so you know.
That's good knowledge because I didn't know
Just animal science, Animal Planet knowledge for you.
I don't know.
that. All right, what did you guys have?
I'm just writing half. Because I don't even know. So half the animals were female.
Wait,
half
who
the
did you
animals
say
were
took it
male.
on the boat?
We failed this one.
Who did you say took him on the boat?
It says how many animals of each sex did Moses take on the ark?
Moses didn't
Oh,
see
we did
anyone.
for
Yes.
both sex?
That's why I
She
had
got it right.
Oh!
You're saying half.
No, this is why I had to
Okay,
double
wait.
check because I'm like, see, this is a fucking riddle.
Right, that's
like
the
we all know.
Okay, well, you got
no,
me.
only people
Okay,
who
go.
know about Christianity so that's not common knowledge if you never were raised in Christianity.
I didn't even listen to who you said. All I heard was.
So you can't
take
even
on
call
the
that a
boat.
common sense one.
Okay, go. 4.
But Noah is the one.
Yeah.
That's
I
why-
didn't even listen
That's
to
why I
the
had to
name.
pause. I'm a little tipsy, but I had to just.
That's why I'm like, wait, why
Okay.
is she asking who? Who else would have said Noah? Duh. Like, okay, go.
If you had only one match and you walked into a room where there was an oil burner, a kerosene lamp, and a wood burning stove, which would you like first?
The match?
Yeah.
See, you guys have common sense.
No, these are fucking riddles. Look at dude.
Did you
That's why-
Well, obviously.
I'm gonna tell you right now, people. These are riddles.
I don't know. These are like all the common sense ones that came, and some of them, I don't know. I took one of the tests on the computer, like that didn't give the answers, and I think I got like 3 right.
This would have been a good.
I know a riddle when I see one, and these are all riddles.
So yeah, I just wanted to do a little fun with you guys. So
Okay. That's fun.
you guys have tons of common sense.
We're so smart.
We have a ton of. I've heard these fucking riddles before.
Yeah.
Since.
I'm not doing any more riddles with you. Next time, a shot round for you, Tiffany.
You killed it, Tiffany.
And I'm doing hard questions again.
Right? Oh, last time. Oh. We haven't did a shot.
Danielle was looking through her little sheets of questions, trying to pick out the hardest ones. That was taking her so
Let's see
long.
what else she has.
She was trying to hit us with these riddles.
Why can't a man living in the U.S. be buried in Canada?
You know what? Since I got it all right, Danielle, you should really check this
Yeah, I
Mayan
don't think so.
locust out.
I already knew you were too smart.
He can't be buried.
You know what? That's what we should do for
Oh,
shot
I-
round from now on. Like, Danielle can ask us a certain amount of questions. If one of us gets them all right, Danielle has to like chug like something nasty.
Mhm.
If you get them all right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. If you get them all right, the
But
other
I'm not
person
the
has to do
drinker.
shot.
You
So,
never
why
do a
would
shot
shots?
round. That's why.
I did do a shot round before.
No.
Because that's the one where I was like, let me do mine with water.
No.
But you didn't do it.
Yes, I did do it.
Mm-mm.
Me and Tiffany
We've
are
only
the
ever
only
done
ones.
2 shot rounds, and we've done them
It
both.
was both of us.
Look, you guys taking it like champs.
I mean, Lisa and I kind of enjoy the shot
Right.
rounds. I'm just
You
gonna
don't
put that
mind
out
it,
there. But
See,
It's
you
true,
guys
though.
take it like champs. You guys really do love me. Aww. Well, that's it for today, ladies. And
So we are
for
out
everyone
of
that's listening.
nasty beers.
Lisa is trying to like close out the show like really, really early here.
Oh,
We
go
just,
ahead.
you know, we have to do our
Oh
close
yeah,
out.
duh. Never mind.
So you guys need to check out our other podcasts at 1515av.com. You can buy through the Amazon link, and that means that we get like a small percentage back to the site to help pay for things like equipment and things like that.
No cost to you.
Yep.
Mhm.
We always ask weekly questions about whatever topic we're going to podcast about on Tuesday nights. So always be looking out for that. Definitely participate. We will read answers on the show, or give a basic gist of if we have a lot of common answers. You guys can always text us at 331-684-8814. You can always contact us at theMWTpodcast@gmail.com. And you can find us on all the major social media networks at theMWTpodcast.com.
If you guys are in the greater, the western Chicago area, the suburbs, the western
Greater
suburbs.
Chicagoland area.
Yes. And you guys would like to be a part of our show and be a guest on the show, let us know. We would love to have you on. If you guys have any drink suggestions that you want us to try,
We love those.
any alcohol that you would want the ladies, these 2 beautiful ladies, to do shot round with.
Or that you'd want Danielle to do just to listen to her take some shots.
I don't think I can take shots, guys.
This
My
sounds also
stomach can't.
appropriate. Would you like to listen to Danielle taking shots?
Because you know she'll be going,
Guzzling
ew,
alcohol.
yuck, oh, this is disgusting.
You make me sound so girly.
You do that on your own.
Yeah, we don't make you sound that way. We just the way the cookie crumbles.
Right.
She's like, ew. I don't say ew when I take drinks. I just say I don't like it.
You do say
Do
ew.
I say
You're like,
ew?
ugh.
Just like we appear to be alcoholics on the show,
You.
but we're not. They know, we're very lovely ladies.
This is the first time I've drank all week.
Yeah, this is the first time I drank all.
Started with Monday, actually.
I was thinking about that. I was like, it's only Tuesday. But it's only Tuesday.
All right, well, we're out of beer, so we are out of here.
Until next time.
Bye.